Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide. We know that nothing happens by chance. We're all here by divine appointment. And for our viewing audience, I share with you, you tuned in at this moment because there's something for you here in this energy field. Our theme for the month has been the intuitive way. That place within each of us that knows that it knows that it knows. When deep speaks to deep, deep answers unto deep. And that knowing arises and bubbles over into every single area of our life. When we know that we know that we know, not even the gates of hell shall prevail against us, because we have that spiritual knowingness. That we are guided and directed, that it's not only a flashlight moment of illumination, but it's also opening to the gifts of the universe. Every single morning when I get up, and when I go to sleep, I sleep in peace, I wake in joy, and I live in the ever-present moment of now. The mystical, the magical, the miraculous go before me and prepare the way with ease and grace. And when something comes up that, interestingly enough, is a challenge or it's something that we have to deal with, that energetically we have those tools. We know that love is the strongest healing power in the universe. That we're speaking today of accessing our intuition. Be still and know that I am God. That we let go and let something arise within us. And especially in those troubled moments. Those moments where it looks very dark and very bleak. But I know that for every breakdown, there's a breakthrough. When it all falls apart, it falls together at a higher level. And I have always said that whenever I have felt that someone or something has pulled the rug out from under me, I have always landed on higher ground. It's the divine boot. Because we know intuitively that stuff's going on, but we're kind of holding on because this is the known. Oh, I hold on to the known because I know what to expect. But the universe says, boop! Time to move on to higher ground. That divine boot that allows us to land on higher ground, even though we were clinging to the known, clinging to the past, clinging to what we felt worked, but intuitively we knew it didn't. For every person that comes to me and said, oh, I gave my company my years and years and years of service, and I just put my life's energy into it. And then they downsize, and here I am, jobless and unemployed. And I said, well, it's really interesting when that happens. Was there like a little intuition that you needed to be doing something else, that you would rather be doing something else? I said, well, yeah, I mean, I've always loved to write, or I've always loved art, or I've always loved whatever it is to open my own business. I said, well, now's your opportunity. If this is a secret love, the universe says, shines a light on it, and when you get the divine boot, you access that intuition, you put it in place, and then you enroll the people that really do support that divine idea. I remember I used to do Success Institutes with Dr. Robert Schuller. And he built the Crystal Cathedral, and he said, there are no money problems. There are only idea problems. Think about it. No money problems. Money, what is that? It's a form of exchange. It's energy. In the ancient mystery schools, they say, money is God's concrete idea of substance. Concrete idea of substance. So when we open the space to access that intuition, there is a certain knowingness. Now, you know, I go to Africa once a year, sometimes twice a year. And when I go, it's really fascinating because I speak to 25,000 students and faculty in the audience. And there is such energy and such affirmation. And there you can just feel it. It's electric. And RJ has been there with me, as well as Dr. Clayton, and as well as Basha, and you feel that energy. And I was speaking with one of the African students who was from originally, their heritage, the Ubuntu tribe. And she shared with me that in the ancient African way, in the Ubuntu tribe, that before a child is even conceived, that their birth is not the moment that they enter the world. Their moment of birth is that moment when the mother thought of them. When they were an idea in the mind of their mother. And then she begins to go out in the forest. And she goes by herself. And she communes with nature until the song of the child is revealed to her. And when the song of the child is revealed to her, she goes to the man that she's in love with. And she shares that the child has revealed its song. And then when they physically come together and make love and conceive the child, during the ritual, they sing the child's song. When the child is actually given birth, the whole community comes together and they sing the child's song. When the child begins its education, they come together and they sing the child's song. When a child reaches adulthood, they gather in community and they sing the child's song. When there is a wedding, they come together, they sing the child's song. And then at the moment of transition, on the journey to the other side, the community comes and they sing the song of that soul. So their journeying to the other side is with that harmonic energy that allowed them to know their soul's purpose. What I loved about this is that even the men gather in community and they sing the child's song if that child has had antisocial behavior, if their behavior has been apparent in some way. Rather than punishing that being, they come together and they sing the child's song because they know that there is no punishment on the planet that will allow them to go within and feel the identity of their soul's purpose in the harmonic of that song. Think about it. And as I meditated on this, and so grateful to hear the story of the Ubuntu tribe, I thought, we are a divine idea in the mind of God before we ever enter this planet. That we come into this planet, each of us has a destiny to fulfill. We have so many experiences. We create these experiences to deepen, broaden, and expand our own life. We create amazing situations of abuse, amazing situations of dis-ease. And you look at some of our greatest leaders and performers in the arts, that their lives were absolutely touched by tragedy and abuse. And they arose triumphant through those experiences to make a difference. They access the higher part of themselves. That each of us, when we go with our highest thought, our deepest desire, our most sacred goal, it unfolds in amazing, miraculous ways. Think about it. When Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers, and they finally came together to commune, and his brother Simeon said, I was the worst of all. You should have me, isolated and put to death. And Joseph said, you are my brother. Only God, only the energy of the universe can do that. Love is greater than vengeance, and forgiveness greater than anger. You are my brother. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. And he arose from that experience as the second most powerful man in Egypt, aside from the Pharaoh. So Joseph had this experience of seeing into the energy, just as Jesus did. Jesus, what? Knew their thoughts before they spoke. He intuited the energy field. He could sense resonance. And when we sense the resonance and the energy of the universe flowing through us, there is only love, because love is all there is that love. So we open ourselves in those moments and we listen to the song of the universe. Think about it. Each of us has a song. We have an energetic, vibratory frequency that we arise through to that experience. No matter what it is that we are going through, we come out on the other side. There are those in our lives when we go through the dark night of the soul, they know who we are. They affirm our personhood. They see our beauty, our aliveness, and who we are. Not maybe the dark side we're expressing at any given moment. And when we come to that place of knowingness, we can never go back to the way that it was, because it's 6:30 on the evolutionary clock. Think about it. When it's 6:30 on the evolutionary clock, the pull to 12, to midnight, to that energy of God is so strong that it becomes involuntary. We can never go back to the way that we were. We might falter, we might fall back a little bit, but we know the difference. Be still and know that I am God. In southern Mongolia, the camel herders have a ritual that when a mother camel rejects her young through the agony of birth or not recognizing her offspring, their ritual is they bring in a violinist. They place the violin upon the hump closest to the heart. The violin absorbs the energy of the heart center, the heart within this being. And in many cultures, camels are very, very sacred. And after about an hour of everyone that is part of this camel's life and the offspring, the calf, they take the violin, the musician, and he begins to play. And he plays at the vibratory frequency of the heart energy of the camel. And in the legend of the weeping camel, that the camel begins to weep as it hears the music and the energy of its own heartbeat. And then, as the calf comes to the mother, it receives and accepts it. Because the note of oneness has been what? Toned. The note of oneness has been toned. And the only thing in this world, in this universe, that creates anything unlike love is feeling separate from. We're all deeply connected, each and every one of us. And that when we reject something in our lives, the universe is toning within us. The heart opens, which is the doorway to the soul. That heart energy, it is done unto us as we believe within our heart. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. To access our intuition, be still and know. Go with our higher impressions. Go with higher ground. Draw the larger circle. He drew a circle that shut me out. Heretic, rebel, a thing to flout. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. And especially when it looks personal. And we get all our feathers ruffled and the ego gets involved. And how dare them to say that to me? He drew a circle that shut me out. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. It is never personal. When anyone judges, it says much more about them than you. Because we all come from our own space and how we, and our own perspective of how we view the world. And our conditioning. What I love about our way of life is that we recondition the old habit patterns of looking outside of ourselves, of feeling alienated and isolated, to moving through separation to our oneness. May oneness prevail on the planet. May we always know that when something is demonstrated in our energy field, that we send love to it rather than judging it, right? It's so easy to judge and to look outside ourselves. But to draw that larger circle and to really, really acknowledge from whence we come and whither we goest. And that we have a song that the universe sang, that moment of not even conception, but the divine idea in the mind of God. Each and every one of us created in the image and likeness of God, listening to that energy, being guided and directed by that energy. When we feel that something shifts within us, and we are never, ever again the same. He drew a circle that shut me out. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in, because we are secure enough within ourselves. We acknowledge this day in whom we live and move and have our being. Margaret Mead was an amazing anthropologist. Amazing. And she had quite a personal life, too. In fact, when I spoke at a very large women's organization here in Palm Desert, you know, what I love about our way of life is that we're all inclusive beyond color, race, creed, or sexual orientation. We're all one. And in Margaret Mead's day, you know, she had a beautiful soulmate named Helen, who was her roommate. And she wanted to be socially acceptable, so she married like 4 times. It never worked. Helen was the one that was with her to the end of her days. And Margaret Mead was this amazing light. And she said, do you want to know when compassion was discovered? Everyone says, yeah. She said, when they saw a skeleton in the ruins of Egypt with a mended femur. We think, a mended femur? Yes, someone had to stop when that person broke their leg and nurse them and serve them until it mended. And then they were on their way. A mended femur was the first act of compassion. Think about it. That to serve one another in that way and say, I love you and I'm going to nurse you and serve you until you can stand on both feet. And when you can stand on both feet, we'll walk the path together, hand in hand. Because the universe is what's singing our song. And we hear that song, we answer that song, and we open to that song, because we all have somewhere to go. And where is that? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. And so it is. God bless you, and namaste.